This episode of the Damage Guild podcast is sponsored by listeners like you. Join the guild at patreon.com/damageguild to receive exclusive perks, member rewards, and bonus content.
Last time on the Damage Guild podcast.
You're trying to get proof that he is trying to overthrow the Vanjects.
Zara is maybe our best bet.
Is this something you feel you would be able to do?
If it would protect both your family's interests and my own, then I would be more than happy to attempt this task.
Do you have anyone that you can talk to get into this group?
We might need to do some scouting around town.
In essence, we are going tavern hopping.
Kardain's getting his wish after all.
Let's set about making the rounds.
This is a small town, so there aren't really all that many public taverns or alehouses or other things. There are a couple places that you could try to stop by and gather information, see what you can find. It could take a while, from several hours to a couple of days before you turn up anything.
Yeah. Well, the juice is worth the squeeze, from my perspective.
Right, so we're going to have you make a gather information check. This is a diplomacy check. If you get a success, then I'll give you some sort of information about what you're looking for. If you get a critical failure, you get incorrect information.
Okay.
Alright, so all of us are going out and doing this?
Whoever wants to do this. And you might want to make some plans on how you're going to do this, considering the scores that you have in diplomacy.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
How long do we have to pull this off? Because if we can go to sleep, eat some food, not in that order, and then wake up, Zara and I can just switch out our familiar abilities and be so much better at gathering information.
Well, that would be helpful. My diplomacy is really good, but of course I'm not going to be interacting with people. So if you have something you can do to boost yours, that would be great.
Yeah, I have a -1 charisma, but I am trained in diplomacy, so it's a +3 overall.
Ooh.
Okay. Nice.
I have a +0 in charisma and a +0 in diplomacy.
Okay, well then.
So,
Great.
let's see what Mr. Crowley could do.
This is all going to go swimmingly.
So what ability were you thinking of?
I think it's the Snoop ability.
Oh, there's Ambassador.
Oh, no, it might be Ambassador.
Miller gains 1 reaction at the start of his turns, which you can use only to aid you on a diplomacy check to make an impression.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, it's make an impression. You can't even get your familiar to help you with gather information. I thought there was one that was gather information, where he's like, I think it's Snoop.
You might be right.
Like they're listening to other people's conversations for you.
Yeah, that's the one. Snoop. Yep.
Yeah, I thought there was an ability that helped them be info gatherers.
To aid you. And what does aiding do again? It's like a +2 or something?
I mean, +2 is +2.
It is, but is it worth waiting around another day for?
Right. Well, why don't we try to gather what information you and I can, and if we fail, we go to sleep, wake up with new familiar abilities, and try again.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. So I will say that there's nothing that stops you from repeatedly trying to gather information. However, if you're continually asking about the same things over and over for days, people are probably going to take notice. So that could affect the results of your efforts.
Well, let's each just try once and see what happens.
Okay,
Yeah, that seems fair.
It's a secret roll, so you don't know if I'm giving you true or false leads.
Okay.
If you get anything at all.
So, diplomacy, private GM roll, or you're just going to do it for me?
I think he just rolls it, right?
Either way, I could do it or you could do it.
We've been having issues with private rolls, though, Thane. I think it might just be best to...
Oh, I saw what I rolled.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We should just have the Game Master do it so that we don't... Yeah.
I selected private GM roll. Okay. I'll just let you do it. I mean...
No, private GM roll means it's private between you and the GM.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But do blind GM roll.
Blind GM roll. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Public blind GM roll. Here we go. I privately rolled some dice.
I mean, I heard them.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been that private.
Okay. And Kardain.
All right, blind GM roll, rolling it. Okay, I did not see what it was.
Okay. So, remind me exactly what you've told them about the target, and then also tell me what you're willing to divulge as you're looking for this information.
What I am willing to divulge?
What the other two are going to be divulging as they're asking around about it, because that will affect the difficulty of this check.
I don't think they should have to divulge much. They should just...
Yeah, we're just interested in joining...
Are you basically saying you've heard that there's some sort of rebellion? Or...
Yeah, they've heard rumors that there's someone starting a rebellion. I'm interested in knowing more.
Okay.
Against the Van Jecht family, specifically?
Yeah, against the current rulership. I mean, if we have to, we can share motivations and, or like come up with motivations and be like, I have a lot to gain from them being out of power kind of statements.
I may refrain from choosing a side at first. If you go to the meetings, then maybe you can be more on one side. But I would come from the perspective of like, I want to know what this is all about, because if there's something I don't know, I'd like to make I'm still making my decision. Like I'm on the fence, and I want to know if this is a cause worth getting behind.
Yeah, cause worth dying for.
Right.
All right, so you both spend a few hours around town. Zara, you're talking to someone, and he says, I don't know much about a rebellion, but maybe the abandoned shack at the south end of town would seem like a likely place for ruffians like that to meet.
Here, I'll mark the location on your map.
But you don't get any solid leads as far as who you could talk to get more information.
Okay. Still, I imagine Zara's not too familiar with abandoned shacks on the outside of town, so
probably not.
That's helpful information.
Are you going to try again the next day? Are you going to discuss other things, other options?
I'll wait and see what Kardain finds out.
He doesn't manage to get any information.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't even get wrong information.
Got nothing.
I guess that's better, though, right? Like getting no information, because then we don't have to sift.
Right.
We're fairly confident that what Zara learned is actually true?
I mean, it seems likely. We don't know if it's true. It's just speculation, is all. Maybe we should switch locations to make sure you guys aren't asking the same people the same things over and over again, and try it for another, 2 nights or so, another couple of cycles.
Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't ask again today, because our checks are a lot stronger tomorrow, right?
Yeah, let's try that. We'll sleep it off. Try again tomorrow.
So give me checks for the next day.
Do our familiars grow really big nosy ears to represent the
nosy ears?
Nosy.
That they can nose their way into some juicy deets.
I don't think it actually transforms them in any way.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm very disappointed. Braun already has some pretty big ears, so I bet he'd make a good Snoop.
For flavor, you can just put one of those disguises on them, but include some big, goofy-looking ears.
Yeah, I make sure I stretch Braun's ears in the morning to make sure that he's ready.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll give Snoop to Mr. Crowley, and I'll also take guidance. How long does guidance last? An hour? Because we could guidance each other, or ourselves even.
I think it's just a turn.
Oh, a turn.
Which is not long enough for gather information.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, guidance is until start of your next turn.
Thane, is Snoop standalone? Where I see that Brian's trying to pick out another skill. We don't need another skill to go with it. The only aid action that needs skilled with it is if we're trying to have the familiar help us with recalled knowledge. Is that correct?
I believe so. Sounds familiar?
I see what you did there, Thane.
I mean, I'll just pick the bronze ability to turn into a tree as well.
All right, I've got Snoop on Mr. Crowley. Okay, so we will try again. We'll switch locations.
Right. So your familiars are basically positioning themselves in inconspicuous locations outside buildings and just trying to listen in and see if they find any sort of interesting conversations going on.
Yeah.
Give me your checks.
So diplomacy.
So this would be a circumstance bonus of +2?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, roll +2.
Ah, crud. I clicked the wrong thing. No, it was a decent roll. that can't count because I'm not supposed to know. Let me try again. Oh.
At least we're staying consistent because I saw my first roll and it was bad.
Yeah. It's just annoying that it automatically goes to private GM roll even if you just did a roll with the... Anyway. All right, blind GM roll. Here we go.
So today, Kardain, you hear an interesting rumor that if there is some sort of rebellion, then you didn't hear it from me, but maybe the mayor, Ormenfelder, could be in on it. He doesn't care much for the Van Ject family, from what I hear. Might be looking for an opportunity to get rid of him.
That Mayor Ormenfelder has been a thorn in our side for years.
So unlike the information that Zara learned yesterday, I'm skeptical to this one. I don't know why. That's just my read. Not that I'm not trying to read you, Thane. I'm not like reading you like a poker player. I'm just hearing the information. Is there a way that we could try to verify that rumor?
Through me, I would know my family's relationship with the mayor, probably. I would know something about it. I can make a check to see what I know.
Yeah, are we back together, like, talking about this?
Yeah.
I mean, I could go ahead and do mine, and then we'll all rendezvous. See what I hear first.
Yeah, you didn't learn any new information today.
Okay. All right, so we all meet back up.
But that means you didn't also learn any false information either.
Which is a plus.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have 2 pieces of info. We have to suss them out.
All right, so I'll make a society check, I guess.
That sounds good, unless you've got a knowledge that works better at lore.
My only lore is genealogy. I think society is probably more fitting. Is this a blind roll, or can I see the result?
Knowledge checks are always blind.
Alrighty, here we go.
Okay, so you try to think back on your family's relationship with them. I mean, this is a pretty small town, all things considered, so it's not high on your radar, but you don't think there's any particularly bad blood between the Van Jects and the mayor here? At least nothing overt that you would have been made aware of.
Would there be a lot of other satellite towns around Shepforth that we would kind of have dealings with, or is Fossdale like one of the only ones?
There are several other towns. There's around a dozen that are under your grandfather's jurisdiction at some level.
I see. Okay. Well, it could be that he feels that way, but hasn't made it known. But I can't speak too much to the relationship that my grandfather has had with him. So we ought to keep that in mind at least. Maybe we'll scour the town for one more night, see what we can find, and then if nothing else big comes up, we can bug the place. The old shack.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm looking through familiar abilities again, and one of them is speech. So I could have Mr. Crowley hang out, or we could have our familiars hang out near the shack, and it grants him the ability to understand language as well. So they could just sort of be planted there at night or during the day or whenever, and then fly back and inform us if something happens.
Yeah, to what extent can Braun take other forms of wood and wood-related objects?
He has to become a tree, although Thane let me flavor it like a little scrubby tree.
Okay, gotcha.
But he can hear perfectly when he's in that form. I mean, I think Mr. Crowley, just by virtue of being a bird, can also just like find a perch where he's not going to be, he can find an inconspicuous place.
Yeah.
I think both of them could be inconspicuous, whether it's Braun as a tree or Mr. Crowley.
Okay.
I think Braun is actually worse because we have to get him on location and he has to plant himself when nobody's looking. So I think technically Mr. Crowley is a better scout for this.
Well, given that we have a potential location, are you able to set it up so that he goes and plants himself, and then if something happens, he alerts us?
I'd have to take like telepathy, wouldn't I?
There's only touch telepathy.
Okay.
Okay.
Familiars have the 1 mile of empathy. So if like he gets excited, something's happening, he gets excited, then you would feel that.
Oh, okay.
There's only so much information we can derive from that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that if you're looking for a way of like an alarm system to let us know, hey, someone's there, let's go and, go there ourselves, that would work. Otherwise, if we're looking for the familiar to be the earpiece, then I think speech is the best way to go.
Yeah, I'm basically just trying to think of ways for us not to have to become nocturnal.
Yeah.
To do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so our familiars can lose sleep, but you don't want to give up your beauty sleep, Verrol?
Yes, exactly. You have me correct, Master Dwarf.
You have the right of it.
I mean, if Braun doesn't get his time to be rooted, he starts to get wilty.
Oh, okay. So when he's a tree, he can't rest whilst being a tree?
That might be restful for him. I don't know. We could try it.
You've never been a tree yourself?
No, not yet, but I'm sure that's something that the Grove Tenders could teach me how to do someday.
Well, thinking about the situation overall, I think in a way, we have an advantage, or we can use it as an advantage. The fact that this rebellion has to reach a certain critical mass or a certain size in order to be successful means that it's going to become harder and harder to keep it a secret as support grows, if and when it does grow.
Yeah, they want recruits.
Right.
Zara and I are pretty good recruits, right? I mean...
Yes.
They need spellcasters.
I dare say you are. So I think first of all, I think we have time. I don't think this is necessarily going to happen overnight. And second of all, I think we have the benefit of it being easier and easier, becoming easier and easier to find out more as this thing grows.
Verrol, I don't know about us having infinite time.
No, not infinite, certainly.
I mean, what about the green slime we sent across the mountain?
That's exactly what I'm thinking of. We don't have infinite time, but we probably do have some time. My grandfather has given me permission to go, if and when we want to. The question I'm asking myself is there more that we can do here before we go? Maybe we can stake out this old shack, and then for a couple of nights, and then if nothing turns up there, then we see about or maybe we can do a dual stakeout, one at the mill and the other at the shack. And then if he leaves the mill, then we try to go in and see if we can find evidence there.
Yeah, I like that plan.
I also wonder, Verrol, I think you're a very capable sword user.
What gives you that impression?
I've seen you use it. I mean, you used it really well against the frog monsters.
Well, it's been few and far between that I've been involved in actual combat before I fell in with the likes of you two. But I'm trying to learn, doing my best to improve, at least.
What I'm getting at is, what if this whole, and Kardain hushes his voice down, what if this whole rebellion thing is way bigger than we can deal with? I don't think we're going to be able to put down this rebellion ourselves.
It may not be our place to put down the rebellion either. Perhaps we were just gathering information for the Venject family to deal with it as they will.
It was never my intention to put a stop to it all myself, necessarily. I was merely sent here on an information-gathering mission to gain proof of what might be going on.
Well, I think we just gotta get that proof. You got any ideas, Zara? You're pretty bright.
Yes, my friends tell me I am.
Again with the friends.
Yeah, all 7 of them.
Yes, I do have them.
Zara, let me tell you something. You do not have any friends, I'm sorry. It's just us. I don't know who these other imaginary people are you keep referring to, but it's just Kardain and myself.
So, you are not friends, then?
I'm referring to the other friends
you
seem so fond of.
They are quite wonderful.
I don't know if I agree with that, Verrol. So me and Zara have a lot in common, right? Like we both can see in the dark.
That's about the extent of it, yes.
That is a recipe for a long-lasting friendship if I've ever heard one.
Well, but hey, all you need is a little bit of commonality, and you can start a friendship.
That's true. That is true.
Indeed.
What do you think, Zara? Why don't we just start all over? I know the whole herbing thing didn't really work out, but...
Let's stare at each other in the dark and see if our bond grows.
Yes. Yes, let our dark vision be a source of union between us.
Let our dark vision be the light that bonds us together.
that binds us. I was merely going to say, I think, though I am loath to admit it, I do believe Verrol has the right of it. I think we should stake out the mill and the abandoned shack, use our familiars to our advantage, and just spend the next couple of days and nights doing that. We'll see if anything comes of it, and if not, perhaps we will carry on our way across the mountain.
Can we tell if one of these locales has more trees for Braun to blend in with? Because, Mr. Crowley is more flexible and he could probably scout either location, but the one that has more scrubby trees.
I would assume the shack on the edge of town, but I don't know.
Yeah, he could probably blend in with some of the overgrown vegetation by the shack.
All right, perfect. Braun, let's go plant ya.
So the building itself is run down. It's got most of its windows are boarded up. Some of the boards have come loose. The doors got part of the corner broken off of it, so it's a little bit of a gap going into the building. Enough that someone with enough ingenuity could probably find a way to reach around and open it from the inside if they wanted to. It's in pretty bad shape, but that said, you don't see anyone else around here who looks like they would pass by it frequently. There aren't other buildings around. It's a little bit outside town, so it would be secretive enough.
Could we look around for tracks, maybe?
Sure. I believe that's perception.
That also could fall under survival, could it not?
I think survival is for the tracks.
Okay, so just looking for tracks is perception. Can I take a look too?
Yeah, you can all be searching around for tracks.
Is this a private GM roll or blind?
Let's do blind one.
You don't want us to know. Okay.
There we are.
Okay. You scour the area looking for any signs of recent passage. Verrol, you don't find any tracks. Kardain and Zara, you each spot some old tracks, maybe from a couple of days ago, but it looks like kid-sized shoes or something. There's a couple of those around the building. Some scuffs in the mud.
That could easily just be town vagabonds running around and getting into trouble.
Spray painting the sides of shacks.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't find any typical adult human-sized tracks.
Gotcha. Okay.
This could be the false info then.
Could be.
Or, like you were saying, it's just conjecture, so it's just a rumor, but...
Well, I don't think we lose a lot by planting Braun.
No, I don't think so.
Not at all, no.
So I think the only thing is I'd have to sleep within a mile of this place. But, I'm no stranger to camping out. I've liked the luxury of the estate, Zara, but I could pitch a tent a mile away.
That's true.
My opinion would be if you give Braun speech and have him listen for information and then report back to you, I think that will be more useful than having him act as an alarm system.
Brian is as useful as that might be. I never intend to give Braun the speech ability.
Okay, well, what if he just whispers in your ear? He doesn't have to speak out loud.
I suppose I could be amenable to it.
Perhaps you could flavor it as though he is somewhat telepathically delivering information to you. Or more of like a sensory, feeling kind of thing than actual words.
It'll be fine, because my assumption is he's not going to hear any speech. Or maybe he'll hear children at play. Is that okay if I retroactively give him speech? I didn't know what other ability to give him besides turning into a plant.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going to ask around for one more night before we did this anyway, weren't we?
Oh, of snooping?
Yeah.
I will note, gathering information on something that's meant to be secret is not an easy check.
Right.
So...
Well, also, the Game Master did mention earlier that we look super suspicious if we keep asking.
Well, that's what I'm saying, making the rounds to different places and not asking in the same place twice.
Yeah.
Taverns. I know Thane said there's only a couple of taverns, but local shops, just
docks.
Anywhere people might hang out. Yeah, at the docks, on the street.
Market vendors.
Yeah. So, let's try that one more night. And then in the morning, we make our preparations, we give them the new abilities, and then we start staking out these locations. So, I'll give another roll for Zara for diplomacy.
Did you add your circumstance bonus?
Oh, I did not. So, I'll let Thane add that.
Yeah, you should have a +2.
Well, I can... And Kardain?
Do you like these aspects, Thane? How, Pathfinder, with, a lot of the social stuff, it's, only the Game Master seems to know. We're left to conjecture.
I don't mind it. I think it's better for a non-metagaming perspective. In this case, I prepared answers for both successes and failures, multiples of each, so that I wouldn't just have to come up with stuff off the top of my head and it would sound all wrong if I was,
Yeah, trying to improvise.
So, if I'm ready for it, then I think it's a good thing. It might be more frustrating as players, but I don't know. Even as a player, I don't think I would want to know that my character got wrong information.
Yeah. Even though it means less die rolling for us, it's also more... I like it more, because it feels more realistic.
More role-playing.
Yeah, more realistic, and it's a puzzle.
Yeah, not knowing is actually more fun to me. Like, I have no idea if I just got incorrect information, which would be realistic, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, since these are just rumors.
So you spend the third day asking around at market stalls and so on, and neither of you learns any new information. You get some funny looks. A few people are kind of surprised that you're talking about rebellion, but no one has any new information to give you.
But rebellion is just so much fun. That was me channeling my inner Shaba.
I see. Yeah. All right. So that didn't really turn up anything useful, so now I think we go to Plan B and stake out those 2 locations.
Yeah.
So you set Braun out by the shack, and Mr. Crowley's by the watermill?
Yeah, by the mill, and I think Mr. Crowley I use just as empathy, because with that, we're trying to, all we need to know is the guy leaving? Because if so, then we want to track him. Whereas with Braun, it's like, if there's people meeting there, we want to be able to hear what they're saying discreetly and have him report to us.
He's going to report to me, and then I'll tell you.
Yes.
If Braun told me anything, because he doesn't tend to talk to me.
Let's play a big game of familiar telephone.
So neither of them has anything to report back to you by the following morning.
Okay. Should we wait one more night?
Yep.
See what happens?
One more.
So we do the same setup of abilities and places?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this 3 times as well. We did the asking around 3 times. Let's do the stakeout 3 times.
Are we making sure that we're staying, like what are you up to, Verrol, while Zara and I do this? Are you making sure we're staying, current with happenings?
I'm wearing a line through the carpet of my room, pacing back and forth.
So you don't want to step foot outside right now?
I mean, I don't mind being involved if I need to keep watch over something. But
Well, no, that's not what I meant. We know that there's something else timely happening, and I feel like with Zara and I focused on the stakeouts, it might be good if you're in with the local, guardsmen and just anything weird on the border, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Because it's we don't want to get blindsided by, hey, I heard that there was some weird noises that the guards have been hearing, but we don't know what that is.
Okay, yeah, I can go and make the rounds.
You could be making your own gather information, but not so much on the getting in on the seedy side, but on seeing if other people or if the guards and the other people who would be on your side would have any. That's what it sounded like he was suggesting.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was thinking he was talking about people coming to attack us from over the mountain.
That too.
Yeah, I was talking about the slime and foreigners. So, I mean, you could learn both by getting in with the local guard and just talking to the military, the militia.
I can do all of the above. I'm going to go to the baker and pick up some fresh baked goods, whatever they are, something super yummy. And then I'm going to go around and deliver them to each of the guards in town.
Right.
And I'll give them a nice yummy snack.
This is a relatively small town, so there aren't a whole lot of guards. There's a handful of policeman type people.
Well, if they're policemen, they're going to love these donuts.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to go to the local Krispy Kreme and pick me up a dozen.
Yeah, you find a local baker named Olafsson Henderthwaite.
Right. And get them each a coffee and a donut.
Little cross-campaign reference there.
Oh, yeah, good old Lofsy.
So you want to make your own gather information, see what you can learn from the constabulary?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So this is gather information is just a raw diplomacy check?
Yep.
It's time to constabulate.
Does he need to do it private GM?
Yeah, he did.
There we go. Yeah, it looked like private.
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, we're putting you on the spot, aren't we, Thane?
I'm just trying to think, since this is a different line of questioning than I was originally planning for.
Yeah, so I'm kind of asking them, anything interesting going on? You guys seen any action outside town? Any suspicious characters, or even outside or inside town? Any strange happenings lately, or
rabble-rousers?
People stirring up trouble, people talking about rebellion? I'll even say, like, my grandfather told me that while I was in town, I should, like, talk to you all about making sure that everybody is happy and, like, nobody's, saying bad things about my family or anything.
None of them seem to have any particularly important news for you. They talk about local, small happenings. When you bring up the idea of everyone being happy and no rebellion or whatever, one of them mentions, I've been hearing some people going around asking about rebellions recently.
Really? You don't say.
Fascinating.
Curious.
I don't know why you and they are thinking about it at the same time, but it's good timing if you're asking about it. You're here to investigate it yourself.
I am, but I would certainly appreciate the help of the local authorities. Keep an ear out, will you? And I give him an extra donut.
Yes, sir. Always keep an eye out for these sorts of things.
Good man. I give him a hearty slap on the back.
So I think he's just referring to Brian and I.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
pretty sure.
Yes. For sure he is. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
We're a serpent eating our own tail here.
But at the same time, they're now alerted to that being a possibility. Is zeitgeist the right word? Am I completely misusing that?
That works.
We're spreading a rumor ourselves.
Right. Of what is happening. Yeah, so that has entered their it's on their radar now.
Good job, team.
Well done.
Success.
We've inadvertently succeeded.
Mission accomplished.
we have generated a rumor.
Right.
All right. Another night of familiar scouting, shall we?
Let's.
So, yeah, the 3 planned nights pass, and you don't see anyone leaving the windmill unexpectedly, or the water mill unexpectedly, nor anyone coming up to the shack.
Okay.
I see.
It doesn't seem like they've been active visibly.
Okay.
Or if they are, they could be like meeting in the basement of a shop or something in town. We have no way of knowing.
Yeah, they could have multiple meeting places and they could be rotating between them.
Mm-hmm.
It is, however, unlikely that any meetings would be taking place without this individual present. I will say that.
Wait, so all we needed to do was generate evidence that there could be an uprising. Is that correct?
Yes.
We have our evidence. We created it. There's a rumor, and the officers or whatever, the police figures are looking into it. Like, there could even be a case file opened on this now because of the rumor generating we did. Like, could we figure that out if they've opened a case file?
Okay, so in the police procedurals, when the dirty cops plant drugs on the suspect and then arrest them, that's basically what we're doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you relay that.
Like I said, mission accomplished.
Yeah, you relay that to your grandfather, Lord Grandfather, and then, well, bam. I mean, obviously, we have way more information than that, and that are leading us to believe that it's real, but it's not tangible, right? That's just, I mean, also, like, even though he doesn't like you, wouldn't he believe your written testimony? Couldn't you just give a written testimony of the suspicious stuff you saw, and then we send that to him, and then he can decide whether or not he wants to quash a theoretical rebellion?
Well, that's just the thing, though. Hearsay and rumor are not enough for him to take action and still be seen as being in the right and not being oppressive and overly reactionary, which is why he wants to be able to say, like, if there's an inquest into what happened, he wants to be able to say, look, here's the proof. It's not just like hearsay or something that somebody said. It's
right.
Like we actually know that this was going on, and that's why we took action against it.
I mean, if there's no activity, doesn't that mean that these 2 locations are rife for us to just break in and take the evidence?
Well, the one location is a shack, so there's nothing to take there. But the mill, the place where the guy is staying in this room, we have to wait for him not to be there to get it.
Well, it's a family, right?
And the whole family not to be there.
Jay, your character has a skill set that could maybe work here. What if you delivered donuts to the mill and were just like, hey, like, I really appreciate the work that you're doing. You're literally like the breadbasket of Fossdale. And hey, can I just invite myself in and just, oh, this place looks great. I mean, I really like what you've done with the place.
Do you mind if I just look around a little bit? Yeah, why don't you guys go eat the donuts outside?
You just schmooze your way into the evidence.
But with him there, I don't want him knowing that I'm snooping. I don't want him to know that he was, with what I overheard the other night, he was worried about me being onto him. So the last thing I want is for him to know that I'm actually onto him, because then he's going to really clam up and be careful.
Or skip town.
Well, I'm circling back to a previous idea I had, which is we give one of our familiars a combination of burrow and something that would let them listen and relay the next meeting that happens at that location.
Right.
I mean, like, these are old feudal houses, right? I mean, like, medieval. These aren't, like modern houses that have a lot of pesky concrete foundationally.
Right. True.
Like, so we could probably bury a familiar within earshot of a meeting and then just pick them up later when it's less scary.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. A meeting has to occur in order for us to do that, and we need to stake out at the mill to know when he's actually going to one.
Braun likes dirt. He could do it.
But in other words, that's sort of what we've already been doing. We've been staking out the past 3 nights, and if there's no activity, then there's nothing to report on.
Take action on, right.
Yeah.
Right, but there's going to be another meeting, and we know that is one of the meeting houses.
Well, no, the mill itself is not a meeting house. We know the one place where I actually saw the meeting happen, the shack, we don't know that has ever occurred. And the mill itself is where he is just his staying, so he's not going to hold meetings there ostensibly. So the question becomes, how long do we want to wait?
Right. Well, I think we can wait, as if we're this committed to figuring out the rebellion, I think we could wait as long as it takes to get the information, as long as we're making sure that we're juggling both this and the theoretical incursion of enemies that are very upset that we have poisoned the river, so to speak. If we're in information gathering mode, we need to be gathering information about both of these calamities about to take place in our fair valley.
Let's hope they don't have some old warden technology that allows them to make machines of war that we've never seen.
Just like suits of armor, Iron Man style.
Like exo armor or like helicopters or...
So, yeah, they're just like super advanced. I would say I don't think that Verrol would leave with us because of what's happened. I don't think that you can go on the mountain adventure with us anymore, right?
It certainly does leave things vulnerable, but like I said before, I think there is time, and I think time is to our advantage in this case.
Yeah, I think we are thinking and doing everything we can to figure out the rebellion. I don't think we're doing everything that we could to figure out, has the other nation already visited? Are they literally in the woods right? And I'm a grove tender, and I'm not making sure that my woods aren't teeming with enemy invaders right now. Right? I mean, I don't know how long it would take this. It's an unknown enemy. At least the rebellion, we have some idea of what they're going to be like. We have no idea what this other enemy is like and if they're already here.
Yeah, first of all, DM question, how long does it take to get to the mountains from here on horseback?
It's a day and a half at your shortest route that you know.
Okay, so that's a good thing. They're relatively close. Question B to the brain trust here is, when we think about what their reaction might be to suddenly seeing a greater volume of this stuff in the river, wouldn't their first inkling be, maybe the piece of wood that we put in place rotted and just broke off?
Gave way, yeah.
And we need to go back and check it again? Rather than thinking, someone definitely sabotaged this, let's go attack. You know what I mean? It's only been less than a week since we were there, right? So,
right.
A, the time that it takes for the stuff to start flowing down, for them to notice it, what we tried didn't work, and then for them to go back and check it, which of course when they go back this time, unless they have one of those cranks of their own, they're going to see that the room is locked and they can't really check it. But they're going to know as soon as they see the flow that...
Since I have been tracking the calendar all this time and you spent several days here gathering information, just a quick correction, it's been almost 2 weeks since you were there.
Oh, okay.
The other part to what Jay was saying is that even if they've done all of that, do they have an army at hand that they can just come and invade our town?
Right.
Or do they even want to do that, or do they just put the block back up and walk away again?
Right. They just don't want the poison in their water supply.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely just MacGyvered into place, right? It was jury-rigged. They just put a piece of wood there, so for all they know, it just fell.
Could we, consult the local Masons Guild or whatever and just, hey, explain to them the problem as best we could and see if we could, go back and build something better?
Say we were to seal off this entire room with stone. How long would it take for it to explode?
Building up with all the pressure from the magic energy coming out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly. Just it just keeps flowing into it.
We'll just reroute all of that slime to Thorberf's pond.
Oh, there you go.
He'll
become super Thorberf. He'll become like the Hulk of Thorberfs. The other point, though, to remember is that we didn't completely redirect it. We 50% redirected it. So that may affect how long it takes them.
So they'll only be 50% mad at us.
Right. When they find out that it was actually us, which...
I mean, we haven't explored weird solutions and maybe this is because I'm role-playing as a dwarf. You know what I just thought? What if we talk about this plight with the local political figures and get some people a job digging a hole? What if we dug a trench or a hole, and then that's where the slime goes instead of it going to our water supply or their water supply? What if we try to dig a well, basically?
Get it into the earth
yes.
at a deeper level so that it's not actually flowing into the rivers?
Yes, subterranean. And then what's really cool is instead of us making enemies with a neighboring nation, we make enemies with the under creatures.
Yes, the underworld.
And we supply them with magical goo.
The drow and the dwergar are going to get mad at us then.
Right.
So then we get attacked by them.
That's interesting, an interesting thought, because in the campaign intro, the word veins is used, and I think that it's these ley lines are very much like veins in that they transfer this magical energy through the world, and now that we have this one that's bleeding, we can't really seal it because we don't have hazmat technology, and if we put anyone in that space for too long, they're going to vibrate to death, right? They're going to get some radiation and die.
I mean, here's the thing: we might not have evidence of the uprising other than the rumors we've created, but that's not evidence. But we do have evidence that the ley line magic in our water supply has done something. The grove. The huge tomatoes.
Right.
And so I think we actually have a better platform to maybe try to solve the ley line problem instead. Verrol, we found out very little. And even what we did find out might not be true. We tried. Braun tried. I tried. I got bored, but I tried.
Wait, so one more thought. We haven't staked out the place where we did see the dude meet up with the other person, right?
Right.
Other than the first night that you tracked him there.
Yeah.
Why don't we try staking that out for a little bit?
We could try some of these advanced familiar tactics we were talking about, right? Like burrowing one of the familiars, and then maybe Mr. Crowley could do some flyovers.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I think this individual is the key, and tracking him is more important than tracking the meeting location, because they're likely to change it. And think about it, even if they only meet once a week, we've only staked the place out for 3 days. So we would really have to commit to a more long-term operation.
So here's another thought that I've had for a while. Between Zara and Kardain, one of us doesn't necessarily need their familiar.
Are you talking about sacrificing Braun?
I shudder to think about it. No, that's not what I mean. Can I go with the guys to explore what we need to do with the ley line, and could I plant Braun under the building with listening abilities?
Under which building?
The building that we know that they had the meeting at.
I mean, you're right that you can use burrow, and
How far away can I get from Braun before he, like, dies or something weird? Like, what happens if you get super far away from your familiar?
I think the only thing that happens is you lose the empathy ability within a mile.
Perfect. So Braun could be a tree. We could bury him under the building, and he's just going to listen for us for however long we need him to. And then we go off and solve the other problem. And then when we come back, he might have listened to an entire meeting, like a tape recorder.
That's true. That's actually a really good point.
I think we need that flexibility because we have two things that are very timely that need to get solved. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I'll put it to you, Verrol. What do you think of my idea?
So, again, I think tracking the individual is more important than tracking the location because we can't guarantee, or we don't even know whether they'll even have another meeting there. But if it's a difference of us being there and able to take action versus us being out of town, then I think the surveillance is probably our best option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Just choosing a building and surveilling it in that way.
It kind of lets us do both at once.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Be in two places at once, literally.
I mean, I would give up the benefit of Braun being part of Kardain's kit, but Zara literally can't be apart from Mr. Crowley and function. But I could be apart from Braun, and my character's going to mostly work.
Yeah, I like that plan. Even if it's not burrowing, like giving him the burrow ability, you could still plant him.
Well, I could plant him, and I guess if he's there for like a week, it's less suspicious. But, I mean, like, here's the thing. A plant suddenly showing up could be suspicious. I feel like burrowing Braun under the building is less conspicuous.
But does everybody keep track of every plant that surrounds every building in town?
Definitely not.
That's just my opinion. I think him digging under the building is less conspicuous than me planting him next to the building.
The other issue would be is if he's underground, can he actually hear anything?
I don't know. I mean, like, can you hear speech through something like tremor sense? I'm not sure.
Familiars don't understand speech, apparently, unless they
Right,
get the
right.
speech ability. So
I don't think listening will be an issue. It might be a little muffled, I guess. Like, what's the foundation of the building? Is it just wooden planks? That'd be no different than if he was a plant outside versus inside the building just under the floorboards.
Yeah, if it's just floorboards, that would probably be about the same. So yeah, I think either one, either plant form or burrow to get him into surveillance mode, and then we go on this mountain adventure. That way we're killing two birds with one stone.
I resent that remark.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Zara, I don't love the idea of putting Braun in the dark. I mean, he is a plant.
That is true.
My grandfather always tells me I look better in the dark.
He might be happier and survive better in plant form than underneath the house.
That too, yeah.
I mean, let's take a look at the house. Is there a place I could plant him that's going to be close enough?
Which house?
Oh, the one where Verrol saw them meeting. You do remember which house that was, right, Verrol?
Oh, yes, of course. I marked it here on my map.
I'm just thinking there's probably not going to be a lot of plants around there that he could blend in with.
All right, well, it's in darkness for you, Braun. We're going to have him dig a hole.
He could probably blend in a little bit better if it were like by the river or something, because there's little shrubs growing on the side of the water.
Yeah, well, but this is the house that we want to stake out, the one where they had the meeting. So it sounds like we're going to have to go with Burrow.
It didn't sound like Verrol wanted that house.
You don't want that house, Verrol?
Well, I think if you're going to go anywhere, that's our only real lead.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too.
I thought you were saying it was going to be following the guy.
Well, yeah, but if we are there to take action, then following the guy would be the way to go. But if we're going to be gone, then he has to just pick a place and stick with it.
Yeah, if we're going to be gone, what's the plan? Are we actually going to go back to the ley line? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're going to go back to the ley line and follow it over the mountains, follow the other stream.
From a player perspective, it is a big bummer to literally leave my familiar, but I feel like this is important enough to us, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not clear what Verrol wants to do. Do you want to stay in town, or...?
No, I mean, I think the plan of leaving Braun in place to surveil is fine.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
It's only a day and a half to the mountains, I think. we've got plenty more time than that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we might have the same amount of success as we've been having, right? Because, like, honestly, what we've done is just made ourselves suspicious.
Yeah.
We've started rumors and been suspicious.
Right.
Well, maybe switching is the correct tactic, because the longer we're away, the less suspicious we become. And then when we come back to, like, figure out if Braun heard something, and then we can act.
Yep.
Like, I think us continuing to go around and ask and snoop is just going to get us in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I think, like you said, this is the best way to kill 2 crows with 1 raven, or whatever it is.
So, we're really doing this?
I think
I
so.
think so.
Okay, so Kardain gets down on one of his knees and
Proposes?
Braun, I've made you this ring. No, he pats Braun's bushy head, and says, Braun, listen, I hate to ask this of you, but I'm gonna need you to bury yourself under that house, and you're gonna have to sit there and listen to know if anything's happening, and I'll come right back for you, buddy. It's the only way.
Braun lets out a soft, rueful,
I am Groot.
cooing sound. And brushes up against your hand. But he seems understanding. Sad to see you go.
Yeah, it'll be fine, Braun. Just don't accept any candy. Don't go with any strangers. And stay under the house.
Don't get inside any white vans.
Actually, and Kardain pops out a fruit and gives it to Braun. Listen, you're going to get hungry down there. I might need to give him more than just this.
Don't those only last like a minute or something?
It's sometimes it's the gesture.
Wait, he's a plant, though. Doesn't he just, like, eat water and stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if he needs sunlight. I mean, so he's a Leshy familiar.
That's right.
Like, I don't know what he needs to be sustained, because there's some Leshies that seem to do photosynthesis. There are other Leshies that seem omnivorous or carnivorous. I have no idea.
I mean, he's basically tree or shrub-like, so probably as long as he's got some soil, water, and sun, he's fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Okay. Braun, if you get really dry and really hungry, you have my permission to burrow out from under the building and get a little sun. But then go right back. Of note, they're probably only meeting in the evening and like in the middle of the night, right? So like,
Yep.
I might actually be able to give him more robust commands of like, hey, like during the day, go ahead, sun yourself.
Yeah, totally.
And if something horrible does happen to him, I should be able to resummon him, maybe, because that's in the familiar rules. I can't do it. And Kardain comes back and gives Braun another big hug. Oh, all right, my friend. This is really more painful for me than it is for you. I don't know what came over me just now.
All right, come along, Braun. It's time to say goodbye.
Zara, please, you're not making this any easier on me. All right, little friend. I'll come see you soon.
Braun grabs your hand in his and gives it a gentle pat, takes a few steps away on his own, and gives you a slow wave with his vines.
My little root. We haven't been away from one another for a long time.
You do like the scene from White Fang. You remember that old movie with Ethan Hawke where he's like telling him to go away and he's like crying and he's throwing rocks at him. He's like, get out of here. Go. Go.
That's exactly how it's happening.
I doubt very much many of our audience will recognize that, but
Probably not.
Well, it's a sad movie where, spoiler alert, it's like 30 years old now. Spoiler alert, he can't keep a wolf as a pet, so he has to send him back into the wild at the end of the movie, and he's really sad about it. So,
All right. Now we prepare to go back to the mountains.
So we go back to Fossdale Fabrics. We pick us up some swimming trunks and tank tops just to match Kardain's.
Can we go to the potion shop and spend all of our money on potions?
After we also pick up some winter clothes, too.
Summer clothes, winter clothes.
Potions.
Alright, so you can go ahead and buy whatever stuff you want to buy. Probably level 1 or 2 is fine.
I'm going to go for like an 80s vibe with my swimsuit, like the neon yellow and black with lightning on it. Super cool designs.
We could get the whole party outfitted with that stuff in case we encounter those kind of climates, which we might. We have no idea what the climate is like over the mountain.
Yeah.
It could be a literal desert.
We actually don't have a ton of money in our party stash. We only have basically 12 gold.
I'm pretty sure this clothing is in like silver and copper price-wise.
Cold weather clothing, desert clothing are 4 silver each.
And we never need to necessarily upgrade them. I mean, obviously, if we're an extreme... Like, if we want to go into a volcano, like, we're going to need some magic.
Yeah, for sure.
How are we doing on potions?
I don't know if anybody has... I know Stoke had one.
Stoke no longer has a potion on his inventory. I think he used it on someone.
Right.
I only have a potion of invisibility. All right, let's buy a few healing potions as well.
Yeah, what's that going to run us these days?
Minor healing potion is 4 gold.
Okay, so we could at least buy 3.
Use up all our party stash. Seems worth it, though.
I think so. I mean, if we liquidate all the gemstones, that's 1 more healing potion. We could have 4. We could have 1 potion for each of us.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, the garnet by itself is 5 gold, so...
I added the 4 potions into the party stash and took out the money for them.
We can all go in and grab one. Cool.
Nice.
All right. We get ready to sally forth.
Yeah. I'm sure Braun's going to learn something, Verrol.
I certainly hope so. I don't want to let my grandfather down. And on that note, I dictate a letter to him, to Erath, for him to send before we leave. As follows. My dearest Lord Josco, I am pleased to report that things are going swimmingly in town. I've made lots of new friends and have taken a distinct fondness to those with whom I expect our family may have a great deal of business to conduct. Business has been slow as yet, however, and will require some difficult negotiations before a deal can be struck. I shall be taking the aforementioned excursion, with your blessing, but will be leaving Erath in town as my correspondent. I will update you as soon as I have conducted further business upon which to report. Love, your favorite grandson, Verrol.
I wonder if Erath knows how to filter your dictations so that the Lord doesn't find your letters repugnant.
He does take some liberties.
Like, I bet he cut some of those parts out.
That, in particular, was code that we have discussed prior.
I could sense the double meaning behind most of that.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that just lets him know I've found something, I'm working on it, but nothing concrete as yet.
I see.
So do you leave this same day, I guess? You've already been in town for quite a while, so...
Yeah.
So you set forth on the 12th of Germinum, Meridi. It's the day of the week.
Meridi.
As in ocean or sea or water.
Okay.
So you set out, and it takes, as I said, about a day and a half.
Cue the theme music from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That's the one. And Stoke is pounding 2 coconuts together.
He's also carrying all of your gear, as per usual.
Help, I'm being oppressed.
Are you bringing horses? Because you're going to have to leave them if you get to the cave entrance.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Should we just go on foot so that we don't have to leave our horses somewhere dangerous?
Realistically, horses don't make travel very much faster. They just make it easier for people by carrying your stuff.
Right. Less exhaustive, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could leave them with Dervin. I'm sure Dervin would love to stable and house half a dozen horses.
We could leave them with my family. That's fine.
It'll add half a day onto your trip if you stop by his place first.
Yeah, I think we travel light, and right, we're already planning to leave some stuff. We travel light, we make for the mountain.
Yeah, we know we're going to hit that blighted forest sooner or later, too, so we don't want to be having to walk them through that whole stint.
Yeah, I agree.
Did we formulate a plan? Like, are we just going to investigate, or are we going to, like, pour concrete? Did we talk to the Masons Guild?
Well, I think the whole idea is to go over the mountain, right? To see what's on the other side.
Under the mountain.
Over or under?
Under the mountain, to the other side of the mountain.
So we're going to go check it out, check out the ley line, see if there's something different, and then maybe go take a look.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the ley line and follow the other stream.
Mm-hmm.
bettering your business takes working with the best. With the James Hardie Alliance, you gain access to leads, training, networking, and support from the #1 brand of siding in North America. Achieve new levels of success by joining the James Hardie Alliance today.